movement, symbolic of this movement, it's not up to the people who are the leaders to create their own branding around their movement. That's something that others do. And I know I've had this discussion with you before, saying, well, if it's a movement, people have to be made aware. And usually, when people are made aware, there's a symbol involved, or yeah, a common symbol like the Vendy flag. That's not up to the leader to make. You're not supposed to be doing that. Not that this is all a big calculated thing, and that you're even thinking about this on that level. And I know you're not, because I've had discussions with you where you're just kind of reacting. You're not calculating.
Exactly. And I mean, I look at what's going on contemporarily, and any time you see anybody trying to monetize, it just, the integrity of the whole thing falls apart. And then look back at history, and nobody who's held in any respect or esteem throughout history
had their own kiosks.
American history all the way back.
Right.
None of these people were like, okay, how do we monetize this? How do we parlay this into a big payday? So I see, when I look back historically at saints and other good people throughout history, I don't see any evidence whatsoever of any of these people ever trying to monetize or turn it into some media bonanza or anything like that, man. It just happens.
Yeah, but
if this is supposed to happen, then it will.
But you need
See to it that it happens, and if it isn't, then I'll die in anonymity, and so much the better.
See, I don't want that, and many people don't want that, but we're not. I guess what I'm saying is we need our Che shirt. We have our Che, but we don't have the shirt. I know this probably bristles you a bit because it seems all like another commodity, but let's face it, the movement doesn't get going unless there's some sort of symbol or radio show or something to keep people informed or have something to coalesce around. Right now, there's nothing to coalesce around except some blog posts that you're doing. I mean, am I being rough with you? But, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, because it's not up to you. Like I said, it's not up to you to create this movement. It's up to everyone else. But you're alive and you have input. What do you want? What would you like to see?
What do I want? I want a bacon cheeseburger. That's what I want. I mean, you asked me that question, and I want to get to heaven. That's pretty much it. And if I can do some good in the interim, if I can provide a good example, if I can make people take a second look at God, which, I do get emails from people quite regularly that say, you've made me rethink my rejection of religion. You've made me rethink my rejection of the Catholic Church. Okay, that's great, but those are dividends. They are not the main objective. The only person who I am responsible for in the spiritual sense is me. That's on me. Work out your salvation in fear and trembling, and that's what I'm doing. I just have to trust that if I do any sort of a halfway good job, that God will see to it that somehow grace is able to flow to other people. I think it's pretty clear, and I don't think I'm being immodest at this point when I say everything that's happened to me over the last year and a half in terms of going monster viral and now having this website where the readership just keeps growing and growing and growing, and the traffic just keeps growing and growing and growing. The fact that I went viral 6 months before MF Global happened, and that happened to be precisely the business that I was in, and I was then able to communicate to a lot of people about what exactly was going on and shine some sort of a little bit of a light on that. I mean, it's pretty hard to argue at this point that there hasn't been some divine providence at work in all of this. I don't lay awake in bed and think of myself as some instrument of God's grace or anything like that. I'm not quite that narcissistic and full of myself, but I think on the other hand, it's pretty clear that things are happening for a reason. And the only very intense feeling I have is that I am not supposed to be monetizing any of this. I've had all kinds of opportunities since I first went viral. When I first went viral, when I did the Koran burning, and my brokerage was still open, I can't tell you how many people called and emailed and said, I want to send you all of my money, all of my retirement accounts, and I want it sitting in your brokerage. And I told every single one of them no. I mean, I could have had, I could have had millions of dollars flow into my brokerage with people actually wanting to give me power of attorney to trade their accounts. I'm like, absolutely not, no, no, no. In fact, I kind of had an inkling even before MF Global that things in the marketplace and the financial system were not good at all. And so, I mean, what if I had all those people send me their money and then my brokerage accounts got corzine the way the MF Global accounts got corzine? Oh my gosh, I would have gone and strung myself off a 20-story building somewhere. It would have been awful. And, yes, there have been all kinds of ways that I could have monetized all this. You know that I was kind of sort of thinking a while back about, putting together a collection of the blog posts in terms of a book of essays and stuff like that. And I get requests for that all the time. Why can't we see your archives? We want to see your archives. Could I monetize this right now? Absolutely. Could I put together 3 volumes of books of essays right now? Absolutely, I could. I cannot bring myself to do it because the feeling I have is so intense that I'm not supposed to be monetizing this. I cannot do it. Could I use the money? Of course, obviously, I could use the money, especially now. Good grief! I mean, they're bleeding me dry. But you know what? You have to abandon yourself to divine providence. And the other thing that is so strong inside of me is the fact that my problems are my problems, and they're not anyone else's problems. And this notion that is so common in this culture that if anything bad happens to you, that you suddenly are entitled to other people's money, and that other people are suddenly supposed to start throwing their money at you. I just find that so utterly, completely repellent. Okay, if people are throwing money at me, every dollar that anyone threw at me, I would view as, okay, that's one round of ammunition that person could have bought that they didn't buy because they sent that dollar to me. Or that's a meal, a freeze-dried meal that could have fed that person that now they aren't going to have it. These people are going to need every single dollar that they can possibly muster, and they need to be turning that into these things to prepare for this. And quit worrying about me. I've got my year's worth of freeze-dried food, and I've got my vehicle and whatever, whatever happens. But this whole notion of just always feeling entitled and just always begging for money like these politicians, that's another reason why I could never, ever run for office, is because I simply could not ever ask other people to give me money. And that's utterly essential in this completely disordered political paradigm. It's this constant barrage of begging for money, and I can't do it, and I refuse to do it.
Okay, how's this for a plan? How about I put this up? I have the readers listen to this, allow them to comment, and maybe we take a look at the comments, and we do another round of this later on tonight.
Okay, sure.
All right? Just to get some idea of the war footing. Is there war footing, or is it crumbling beneath us? When I say us, I shouldn't even use that word. I should say you, because I'm completely emasculated, like I said. But let's start there, and we'll see them on the flip side. What do you say? Okay, great, Ann.
All right.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.